What are we doing tomorrow?
You wanted to fish, right?
Of course, it's one of my favorite things to do.
Well, I've got a fabulous fly fishing trip planned for us.
Uh-oh, now I'm a little worried.
Why?
You don't know how to fish. Let me guess, it'll be another early morning.
Of course. Isn't that when the fish are biting?
Good night.
Good night.
We're gonna drown for sure. I'm Michelle, a longtime realtor.
I'm her husband, Mark, a television news anchor.
Together, we've started a podcast.
And we want to hear from you. So, let's talk.
So the first thing we did when we got to Glacier National Park, we didn't go sightseeing, we didn't go hiking, we didn't go camping. What did we do?
We didn't go get our nails done.
I didn't. What did we do?
We went fishing.
Fishing.
Fly fishing.
Right.
With a guide.
We're just trying to skim that and then miss this one too.
Testing out my balancing skills.
Yeah. Gotta have them.
Right. And well, that's your thing.
That's my thing.
You love to fly fish. And you picked that up last year in Grand Teton National Park on the Snake River.
Right.
And you haven't fly fished since last year.
Right.
So I thought, you know, in the past, well, last year, what you did is you just went out on your own.
Right.
And you did okay, but you need to kind of know what you're doing.
What do you mean I did okay?
Well, how many did you catch?
None.
None, okay.
It's the art, Mark, it's the art of the cast.
Right.
Okay.
So the cast may have not been very good. It was lousy because you didn't catch any.
No, that's not true, Mark.
Yeah. So anyway, so we get to Glacier and I decide you're going to get some lessons.
He's such a giver.
So,
Right.
right now, what you should do as like a drill or an exercise is cast it back, and as you do, look what I do here. I'm gonna go back, oops, and I'm literally gonna watch it. I'm gonna get to the apex before it starts to fall, then I'm gonna cast it forward. But you gotta look at it with your eyes so you can see it. So do it and watch each time. As you do the back cast, watch it. You don't have to look right into the sun. There you go. And you have to do that a couple times, looking at the fly so that you know when to go. And then once your muscle memory kicks in, then you don't have to look anymore.
It's not cheap, is it?
No.
No. So we did a half-day lesson on the, what's it called? The Flathead?
The Flathead River.
Flathead River.
Wild and scenic.
Wild and scenic, very beautiful river in and around Glacier National Park.
And it's all catch and release,
right.
just so you know. So
And what kind of fish?
cutthroat,
Cutthroat.
trout. But there were some suckers in there. That's what they call them. They were literally like just hanging out like this long.
There's probably close to 1,000 fish per mile, but there's only about 200 to 300 trout per mile, if you can believe it. Suckers and whitefish. Look at all these suckers underneath here. You see them all?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
There's hundreds.
And that must have been what we saw last year on the Snake River in Grand Teton because they were just literally 5 feet from us in the water.
Not interested.
Dozens of them.
Yeah.
You put the fly in there. Nothing.
Nothing. So the ones I caught 3, and I lost a lot. But they were little. They were like this little, and they're so strict.
Yeah, I know.
So don't reel it in any more than that. You're good. Now just slowly drag it towards me. Nice. Little cut bow. So this is what we call cut bow because it's a hybrid rainbow cutthroat. It's on the smaller side, but we'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, you would think they would have been, but they were just small.
They were.
They were small.
Teeny.
Yeah.
and we can not touch them at all, they have a way better chance. Nice.
So we hired a guide, and through a company called Glacier Guides. Didn't know anything about that. And we decided, should we do a full day or a half a day? So we did half a day in the morning. Of course, morning's the best time to fish, right?
You don't really save any money doing half a day anyways, but
$100 off for half a day.
but I just don't want to be stuck somewhere for a whole day.
Right.
Because we're too busy. Or
Right.
I am. I'm always going somewhere.
So it was early on a Sunday morning. We went to the Glacier Guides, and we met our guide, our instructor.
I'm Cam Williams, fly fishing guide up here in northwest Montana.
Cam took us down the river.
I've been doing it since I was 19, 26 now. So this is my 7th or 8th season.
We had about 6 miles, 4.5 hours.
Right?
And I didn't fish.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd like to try to fish, but you fish, I take pictures. I document everything.
It's a good match.
Right.
It is. Then we don't get any lines crossed. That's true. That's very true.
So let's talk about the experience. How did it go?
It was good. It was good. I would do it again. And I will do it again because we'll go back to Grand Tetons, which is my favorite place to go to, and fish the rivers there. They're just awesome. You know. So I'll do it again. I would recommend anybody doing it, especially if you're just starting out. It's tricky.
So Cam was pretty good, wasn't he?
He was a great teacher.
So your big fly is actually gonna act like a bobber. I'm gonna go ahead and anchor up so we don't go too far. We're gonna drag that anchor as we go.
26 years old, he had his own boat.
So the boat's name is Janice Joplin.
And it has its seating, and then it also has a place where you stand up, and it keeps you from falling over because you're actually on a pretty busy river.
She can handle some rocks, but she doesn't like it too much.
And so I lean in and I have to keep myself from falling overboard.
So just be ready is all I'm saying. Now a little breeze is probably not gonna help you cast. It's not gonna be helpful. She'll be good. She's leaning in. If you're leaning in, you're gonna be good. If you're not leaning in, there's actually a chance you fall off, which we've already talked about that. That would be, I don't take responsibility for that. It's only happened once to me, and I don't want it to happen again. Okay, here we go.
Because there were moments when, of course, you're in the river and you've got a current, you've got rocks, things happen, you're not just going smoothly down the river. There'll be a few times where there'll be a bump.
Here's a big bump. That's all right, we'll get through this. Got myself in a little bit of a pickle here.
And what Cam do?
He got out, pushed us out.
He said,
I don't do anything.
basically, hang on, do you mind if I get out of the boat right now?
That's not my job.
You guys can stay in.
Oh yeah. And we're free.
And it was, I mean, he did, it's probably not the first time it's happened. It happens all the time.
That's why you got to be young.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
But Cam was a great teacher. And I asked him, a lot of questions, why he does this.
Right.
What does he get out of this?
Right.
Well, I've always liked fishing and catching fish. So what's funny is I kind of get to do it through people on a daily basis, I get to fish vicariously. I also get to meet a bunch of cool people. I meet at least 2 people a day. And we already have something in common the second we meet, and that's that we like fishing. So it makes it pretty easy to get along with folks. That's kind of why I'm in it.
But along this river, it's just on the Flathead is on the west side of Glacier National Park. And as you mentioned, it's wild and scenic. And we saw some birds. We saw an eagle fly by.
cast it back into shore. That's the hardest thing about fishing from a boat is even though you know that fish was there, you gotta, it's gone. Try for another one. Try not to get in this backwards, this living in the past mentality. Oh, here's a big eagle flying right in front of us. Just look forward, yeah. Yeah, there it is. Just left off that tree there.
So what did you learn? What are some of the things that Cam taught you?
Well, so when I was casting last year, my wrist would hurt when I was finished for the day, and so I was breaking my wrist every time. So that was major. So when you cast, you need to keep it fluid and keep your arm straight. And be, he was a great
Yeah, he
teacher.
gave you that lesson. Is that kind of hard? And I can see when you were
It's easy to break your wrist.
right, but can you see that when you're actually doing that? Can you feel that?
Yeah, you can feel it because it starts to hurt. Your wrist hurts
When you break
when you
the
do it
wrist.
wrong.
Right,
Yeah,
when you do it wrong.
Obvious.
Yeah.
So see how you're way too far back? So great, go ahead and redo it and stop at the appropriate spot, which is 1 o'clock. So go up and back. See, too far, so fix it. You look good. This is the point of the drill is to try to break that habit. One more time. And just totally freeze like this. And look at it. Well, okay, that's where it's supposed to be. So lift it up right now just like this. That's where it should be. So do it again. And match my rod. Make your rod look like my rod.
So I learned a
Does
lot.
it look like-
Oh, and tying flies. Tommy, my son, he's taught me a lot about tying flies and things like that. But that's just a lesson you just have to learn over and over. It's very tricky, in my opinion. So
Before we talk more about fishing, let's kind of give the setting of where we are right now. Hang on, we're at a spot here where we've got people coming in and out.
good. Come on
Yeah.
in.
Sorry to encroach.
No, you're
No,
not.
that's
You gotta
fine. We're
take a
just
look.
doing a little podcast. Okay, sorry about that. We got interrupted by somebody who wanted to take a picture of the gorgeous view
We're
behind us here.
hogging this gorgeous view.
Okay,
So rude.
so
We parked
we're-
our van right in back up and ate lunch, made our lunch.
Yeah, we are on the east side of the park. This is behind us is St. Mary Lake, which is east part of Glacier National Park, and we've been staying on this. Well, the first night we stayed in
Fish Creek.
Fish Creek, which is on the west. Just one night there,
Right.
and then we did fishing the next day, and then we came over the Going to the Sun Road.
Which is right here.
Right here.
We're on it right
If you-
now.
Yeah, if you hear traffic, it's right in front of us here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the most scenic roads in the country.
Maybe in the world.
In the world,
Pretty-
yeah.
pretty beautiful.
It's pretty nice there.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's so popular that you have to have a reservation, a vehicle reservation to get across.
It's so tricky.
And
So tricky.
there's another podcast we can do, and all the things you have to do to prepare, to think about when you camp, when you come to a national park like this.
Right.
Whether you're campsite, going across the Going to the Sun Road, you have to have a reservation for that. So it's not that easy. You really have to think about it and be organized.
Yeah, we used to just worry about getting a campsite. Now you have to worry about.
There's a trick to that too.
It's just the national park
Yeah.
system is a little bit wonky.
Yeah, it is. It is.
a good
We
way
have
to
some
put it.
stories on that too, don't
Yeah,
we?
yeah.
But this behind us is a great looking lake, St. Mary Lake, and I'll show some pictures here. And there was a fire some years ago, and it's you've got the dead trees, the fire burned trees all along the
terrible.
lake, which in a sense kind of looks beautiful as it is now, but it was quite a tragedy.
Huge. It goes all the way up this mountain here, jumped the Going to the Sun Road, and then went all the way down to the lake. And then
Right.
miles and miles and
Right.
miles and miles.
And I'll show you some of the mountains that are surrounding us that we're looking at right now, and these granite peaks.
Beautiful.
Something else. Are you going to do any more fishing this week? I hope you do.
I am. Tomorrow we're doing a hike,
Right.
and then we're going back down to Fish Creek, and we're staying in a really nice campground on a lake. And
Lake McDonald.
McDonald, so we can either do that or we can go to the river.
Right. Back to the Flathead River.
Yeah.
We have a campsite on the river. We have one also on, as you mentioned, Elk Creek.
Right.
Right now we're staying at a place called Rising Sun Campground, And before that, we were in the mini glacier campground, which is considered the most sought after campground in Glacier National Park.
And that's right where the big hotel is, the Mini Glacier Hotel. And it's
oh my gosh, the
gorgeous.
views from there,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
unbelievable. Took a hike from there, and we'll talk about that in another podcast. A hike from the Mini Glacier Lodge near our campsite all the way up to Grinnell Glacier.
Yeah, that was a trip.
That was the, how'd that go?
That was a hike. It was good.
It was 15
great.
miles.
It was a great hike, but
there
it was
and
hard.
back, and up to a glacier. And we took a wrong turn.
Went underneath the waterfall too, that cooled off.
Right.
That was fun.
The wrong turn cost us about an hour and a half. So, another mistake we made is we got started a little bit late.
Yeah.
We got started at 10:30, and usually I like to start 6, 7 at the latest.
Right.
Especially if you're going on a long hike like that.
Yeah. Somebody was dragging her feet. That was me. I know.
Yeah.
It worked out.
So fishing, you're going to fish some more. I was going to say I hope you fish more because I bought you a year-long pass.
Yeah, it's true.
Season fishing pass.
Are you thinking of dropping me off and leaving me here?
Right. So fishing is her thing. She loves to fish, and she also loves to hike. She loves to camp. She's the perfect woman.
Damn straight. You want to see me get swept away? Drama, drama. Bradshaw, if you had to rely on me for dinner, you might go a little hungry. Really? I'm still jaded from all the grizzly bear issues, so I am still like, whenever I hear a sound, I like freak out. This purple one on that we were fishing with the other day that we got some decent hits off of. I have a little grasshopper, but I want to put that little fly on, but I didn't bring the string in my van. Okay, now I'm ready.
We hope you've enjoyed our podcast and thank you for spending your time with us. We'll see you next time for another episode of Let's Talk.